In gaming, we usually see so many different types of levels. Big houses like in Super Mario Land 2, grassy plains like in every game ever, but there's only one that feels extremely magical. One that just has those vibes, you know? And that's snow levels. I've talked about them before in my personal time, but I don't think I really got my point across. It's finally time to deep dive into what snow levels are in video games and why they're so good. I think to begin talking about snow levels, I think I need to talk about my personal favourite snow levels. And two of my favourites come from Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart Double Dash. First, there's Frappe Snowland, a classic stage. This isn't my favourite snow level in Mario Kart 64, but it's one that I find to be quite interesting. The course has a lot of hills, a lot of white with snow falling down as you drive through. It feels really damn magical, all things considered, and I really enjoy it. The next one is the two Sherbet Lands. Yeah, Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart Double Dash both have two completely different courses named Sherbet Land. How does that even happen? The first Sherbet Land takes place on a blank canvas, almost, with a few penguins hanging around almost as if you're in the Arctic. It's a really fun and unique take on the concept of having a snow level. I really enjoyed this track in Mario Kart Wii, but I do enjoy it in the original game. But the GameCube Sherbet Land, which I've mainly played in Mario Kart 8, is really good. The GameCube Sherbet Land takes on an ice rink and some shy guys that you could hit. You go through tunnels and more. Both Sherbet Lands actually kinda have the same concept, but take the idea in two completely different directions. It's quite interesting, all things considered. But Mario Kart isn't the only game that has snow levels. Oh no, there are so many more. Now, here's a fun fact for you. There's actually a 2003 video game called Snow. It released on the Dreamcast, the PlayStation 2, and the PSP. The game actually eventually got turned into a novel, manga, and more. Snow is such an interesting concept for a game. I imagine the game is just really cutesy and fun and great for the whole fam. Oh. It's an adult visual novel. Well, luckily, don't worry. There's a 2019 game by the same name. This game was a free sports game that released on Windows and a PS4 and developed using the Cry engine. And yet, was published by Sony themselves on the PS4. The game was supposed to be a games as a service type game, similar to games like Fortnite and the such, and have constant updates that add more and more content. The game was published by Sony purely because Sony at the time had a free-to-play development team, so they were the best people to do it. The game released in early access on Steam in 2013 and eventually on the PS4 in 2016. And it wasn't free. What? Yeah, so unlike what they said, this free-to-play game, you actually had to pay for, because they wanted a limited amount of people playing the beta. The game eventually came out in 2019, and then the servers were taken down, and the game was never heard from since. You thought Concord was the first time Sony did something like that? Nah, Snow was first. Snow is always first. But now, we need to talk about a classic. Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Very famously, this game never came out. But one thing we do know from the last time I spoke about this, which you haven't seen, was that Snow was heavily involved with the creation of this game. All of the concept art that the public saw had the Borealis, something first shown in Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and it was stuck in the middle of the Arctic. Well now, since it's the 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2, Valve actually showed off some gameplay from this snowy section, and let's just say it's interesting. The first part of gameplay shows off a gun called the Ice Gun that allowed you to create ice out of nothing. You could create shields and other stuff like that. It was a really cool concept that allowed the player to do anything with their creativity, and it was really interesting. It would have been so cool to play around with the environment like that, but I guess that because the game was never made, we never got to see what we could do with it. They also made some blobs in a place called Blob Town. Fun. Well, that's Snow levels. How fantastic. Anyway, I've got my Snow appointment now. I better run.
Kart! That was another good one, Charlie.
So why did you want me to talk about Super Mario Land 2 and snow levels?
Come to my office.
Well, Grampsy, what are we doing here?
Well, in my old age, I've been trying to get into more and more businesses. The one I was thinking of is making video essays about video games. and put them on YouTube. So I thought it'd be interesting to get a young guy like yourself to talk about them, because you're an interesting demographic. And I know for a fact you talk about video games yourself anyway. Hey, would you mind if we look at one of those? I need them for inspiration.
Okay. What was the first console you played Super Mario Brothers on?
So you edit these yourself?
Yeah. Alongside re-releasing games in different ways. Nintendo had 3D Classics, a way to play some of their older games with 3D, alongside
I don't
Sega
get it.
doing pretty
You
much
call
the same
this one
thing.
the complete history of emulation, yet this isn't actually the complete history of emulation. It's only like the Nintendo parts of emulation, and even then it's not even the complete history of that.
Well, I just make these videos for me, so I don't think it really matters what I call it.
You could just release these, you know? You could become a YouTuber.
I'm good. Thanks for offering, though. Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back, and welcome to 1999.
Pause the video! That phrase you just said.
Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back.
Yeah! I was thinking while watching back the Super Mario Land 2 one and the Snow Level one that you should have some sort of catchphrase that you say in every single one of these. And that's it!
Well, I try to include it in every video I made, but because Super Mario Land 2 and Snow Levels was something made for you, I decided not to include it.
Well, aren't you gonna count these two as a part of that show anyway? So wouldn't you need to add that in?
Yeah.
So shouldn't you say, hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back?
I'll record a bonus section to put at the start of both videos.
Why don't you do it now?
Okay. Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back, and Super Mario Land 2 is kind of funny. That was good, right?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, and now Snow Levels?
If you would be so kind.
Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back, and Snow Levels are kind of funny, aren't they? That works, doesn't it?
I guess so. So you'll let me use your personal ones and put them on YouTube, right?
No thank you.
Oh, come on!